Let me take you to another area. You mentioned Afghanistan, and I wanted to ask you about the drone strikes that the United States has been pursuing in Afghanistan and Pakistan. You've raised concern about these in the past. Are they wrong?
Well, let me say that drone strikes come under international law as to when they are permissible and when they are not. And so I think one of this is that the benefit of achieving a military target should not be at the expense of loss of civilian lives.
But civilians are being killed in these drone strikes all the time.
That's why my concern, which I also expressed when I visited Pakistan.
So would you say that a proportion of the American drone strikes are illegal?
I would say that they are harming civilians and they need to be reviewed, and we need more public information to be made public. I see that it has come up in some of the subcommittee Senate hearings. So it's only now we're getting information. When I made the call, I said we don't know enough, but civilians are being killed.
Are you reluctant to call them illegal?
Well, I would say that what I'm hearing is that the United States says these are targeted killings of terrorists and the Taliban. But if civilians are being killed in the process in large numbers, then obviously one has to question how targeted this is and whether the military objective outweighs the loss of civilian lives. So therefore, that's where I am. I cannot say it's legal or illegal without a proper scrutiny of what's going on there.
So what do you want Barack Obama to do?
I think that he has to be much more careful in making sure he stays within the lines drawn under international law on when drones as weapons can be used for targeted killing.
Because the temptation, when you think about international human rights, is always to think that this is foreign regimes, you know, it's all in the Middle East and Africa and Asia where the governments are that you've got to worry about. The truth is there are as many concerns about Western governments' behaviour as well, isn't it?
If one sees the entire discussion going on in the United States now, their concern is because the drones were used to attack an American citizen and his son in Yemen. They were killed. So suddenly it affects them. And they feel there's special qualification if a person is a citizen. They're discussing it at that level. But as High Commissioner, I would look at it from the point of view of wherever civilians are endangered by the use of these weapons.
And what would if I can bring you to the British government and its responsibilities on human rights, the issue right now over which the British government is being criticised is really the behaviour of the intelligence services and its involvement with regimes like the Libyans and their involvement or alleged involvement in rendition cases. Do you think the British government stands up to all its international obligations straightforwardly as well? Or is it also doing things that should be questioned? Because we don't see the British government questioned very much.
You know, so much of the information is being withheld under the label of state security. I do welcome some of the initiatives, such as the commissions of inquiry, the inquiry into the British Secret Forces' involvement in the killing of IRA people in Ireland, where so much of the, I think, MI5 or MI6 information was disclosed. Now, that's the first time. I would encourage those kind of inquiries so we could know, the public is entitled to know what kind of information the government relied on to act, just as there's been the inquiry into the attack on Iraq. What kind of information did the government rely on to conclude that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction?
But in simple terms, do you think human rights are being infringed in the name of national security?
I'm concerned about that under the label of national security, violations occur, that a government's obligations under international law may be violated, and it's in the interests of every government, including the UK government, to ensure that they stay within the norms of international law and that they hold these obligations under international law.